Welcome back. I have now another guest with me from Destined for Greatness, The Power of Many Voices, Miss Victoria Walker. Miss Victoria, how are you?
I am amazing and I am so grateful to be here.
Thank you so much. Miss Victoria, could you tell us in a few minutes a little bit about your story?
Definitely. My story began through trauma and tragedy, but at the end of that tragedy, I found myself in a victorious place. So my story began when I was working at the hospital, and what ended up happening was I suffered a traumatic brain injury. And it took away my desire to become that dream I always held in my mind, which is to become a medical doctor. I always wanted to help people and to find cures because I wanted to be a doctor of research. And I said, so that's the way I wanted to actually live my life, to find cures to help to reduce human suffering. But once this trauma entered my life, I wasn't able to complete my degree. However, it took away that dream, and my dream was completely shattered. But today, could stand and say it didn't take away my desire to want to help to reduce human suffering. So I'm here today sharing my story on how I was so low. I was in a place because when my dreams were shattered, I actually felt powerless, hopeless, helpless. And then I went into a place where I was just like in a twilight zone. And when I was in that twilight zone, it was cold and it was dark, and words of doom prevailed. And it relates to a real twilight zone. The twilight zone is just beyond the reach of sunlight, and it is cold and it is dark. And that's how I felt.
Oh.
But in that place, there's flashes of light, and it's produced by living organisms. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that my flash of light came by way of a word that spoke to my fallen spirit. And it said, rise up, Victoria, and live.
Mhm.
You are much more valuable than rubies. And your design is divine
Oh, I like
because
that.
I am God's masterpiece. And so, for anyone who's in that dark place and find herself in that twilight zone, I am here hoping that my words are as that flash of light that pierce through your darkness and allow you to know that there is a way of escape. And when I was in that place, I came up with this quote when I was strengthening myself, and it's called roadblocks. Every roadblock has a detour.
Mhm.
And just know that there is a way of escape where you're at today. There is a way out.
I
And so,
love
the last but not least, this is the last thing I would like you to do. I would like you to put your right hand on your left shoulder and your left hand on your right shoulder. And I would like you to squeeze and feel in the moment that you are holding the most valuable person in the world. You are more valuable than the precious ruby. Just recently, I discovered that a ruby sold, it weighed in at 32 carats, keep squeezing, and it sold for $6.7 million. And I want you to know you are worth more valuable than any precious gem in the world.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for that. Oh, I haven't helped myself ever.
Yes.
But with that being said, I would like to know then, how did you overcome adversity in your life?
The main way I overcame adversities in my life is basically when I had the brain injury that I spoke about earlier, there was this wonderful woman who came into my life and gave me the Bible on cassette. So that's kind of dating myself. It was on cassette tapes.
Mhm.
And I think I burnt the little tapes off. So I just stayed saturated in God's word, just listening day and night.
Mm.
And then through that, I believe it was, by divine design that someone spoke into my darkness, and I was able to see just a glimpse of light, and then hope sprung forth. And like Mr. Les Brown would say, life is truly a battle for territory.
Mm.
If you don't fight for what you don't want will automatically take over.
That is so beautiful. I love that. But then if you can sum up your journey in one word, what would that word be?
That word would be love. And again, my word, it comes from a place, I call it the instruction book of life.
Mhm,
And it tells us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves.
mhm.
And one of the things that I discovered was I left that end part off. I was loving my neighbor, which is my family, my friends, and my foes, but I wasn't loving myself.
Oh,
So self-love
mhm,
is what it sums up my journey.
mhm.
So
I
it's
love
just
it.
love.
I love that. That is so great. But then with that being said, I must ask you, what do the Destined for Greatness Power of Many Voices mean to you?
Destined for Greatness, the power of many voices, what it means to me. It's just a small little story I would like to express. And it's basically, I had an amazing privilege and opportunity to resuscitate my granddaughter.
Mhm,
And when I was in that place of resuscitating her, and when it was chaotic, and what ended up happening once her life was restored, a great calm and peace prevailed. And I see Destined for Greatness, the power of many voices, as that voice that is treatment to what people are, where they're ailing,
mhm.
that our voices will create that great calm and peace. Even in the midst of chaos, people, I believe, will receive a great calm and peace.
Oh, I feel calm. You just saying it. I appreciate this so much. Thank you, Ms. Walker. I really appreciate your time. With that being said, everyone, this is Destined for Greatness, the Power of Many Voices. All right, Ms. Walker, I appreciate your time. Thank you so
Peace and
much.
blessings, everyone. Until next time.
Until next time.